Basically, for those who don't know at home, and this is AB's topic, so he will be taking it right after me. But basically, for those of y'all who don't know at home, there's Greek life. There's Greek letter organizations throughout all colleges and like a bunch of colleges and stuff throughout America. And the ones that are historically black are known as the Divine Nine. There are 9 different. There's 9 different fraternity sororities. They're not 9 of each. I think there's like 4 and 5. And they each have their own like set of Greek letters, their own like practices, their own history behind what they do. And basically, they like you get members, you induct members, and they're like you're part of a fraternity or sorority. It's like how it is, but it's more like black centered, black heritage. So. Yeah, speaking of
that, so basically, you know, people join these type of groups to get long-lasting relationships.
Business,
business connections,
communities.
They help out.
They do a lot of work with the communities. They've done a lot for the black community as a whole.
Exactly.
Provides a lot of people community.
Now this shit here, bro,
get wicked.
It gets wicked, bro. So on February 27th, right, this dude named Caleb Wilson. Before I even get into it, I just want to send my condolences to his family, friends.
So sorry.
Because the shit that happened to this man, bro, it's like we understand what the Divine Nine is for, but this
is not what it's for.
Like this hazing shit, bro,
is not what it.
It can't, bro. It can't continue.
To that,
it cannot
we'll
continue.
Get into it, but to that point, like as like black community, come on. We have to have these conversations, and I understand, especially coming from y'all like who these snot nose ass kids. Cool.
All of us have friends and family who are in the D9. We've literally seen what they do, their impact on like a campus. We've hung out with people like it's the coolest people, but you have to understand that they're still people. They could be people like you, like anyone that y'all know. And if you hear that tragic news off some shit like that, you have to drop it and just like let your humanity come through for a second.
Let's hear it, David.
So before we get into what happened to this man, he's a 20-year-old. So when I heard about this story, I thought about y'all niggas, because that shit, bro, it pissed me off. So he's a very book smart person. He's majoring in mechanical engineering, and he's a part of the Human Jukebox marching band, right? So
that's a really big marching band.
Yeah, it's really fucking big at LSU. Crazy. LSU's
marching band.
That's really renowned.
I know that they was working hard. I know people in marching band, like, and who's been in band since high school and in college. They be working crazy. You be practicing all day.
Hell yeah. So basically, on the 27th, he passed away due to a hazing ritual.
Do they say what ritual was or no?
We gonna get into that.
Oh shit.
We gonna get into that.
But he did say the story gets crazier. Yeah,
gets crazier. Okay, so according to the Baton Rouge Police Department, right? This is the story that the people that took him to the hospital, they told him. So he was pledging with the Omega Psi Phi D9 organization, right? They were told, the police were told that they were at the North Sherwood Forest Community Park, and I guess Buddy was standing in a line with all the D9 members, like pledging and doing the ritual and shit, and he collapsed on the floor. They took him to the hospital, and then he ended up dying at the hospital at like 3:15 in the morning.
Damn. Okay, let's get deeper.
Let's get this shit deeper, bro.
Man.
Let's get deep, because I don't want to say I don't want to talk or do thoughts.
Yeah, I kind of want to
let's hear the whole story.
Yeah.
So y'all want to hear the whole story first? Okay. Bro, this is fucked.
Oh Lord.
This is so fucked, bro. So, the story that I just told y'all, that shit was false.
Oh.
What? I'm about to say, because it sounds fishy. What do you mean he just collapsed?
Yeah, because I was like, just collapsed.
Okay, so that wasn't the real story. What actually happened?
So basically, they weren't at the park. Nobody, the people that were like participating in the ritual to get inside the Omega Psi Phi, they were not at the park. So what happened was they were actually at a warehouse doing a ritual in a warehouse. And I guess, bro, the ritual that they were doing, right, allegedly they were doing, was each person was standing in a line, and I guess one of the like higher ups maybe punching them in the chest repeatedly.
Oh my God.
So when they got to him, hit him in the chest, he fell on the floor, didn't wake up. They took him to the hospital, and that's how he passed away.
That like,
damn.
And
it gets worse.
It gets worse.
They took him to the hospital, right? After they take the man to the hospital, they went to the park and they had to discuss on what the story was going to be.
And then they made
made the story up. They were all at the park and he fell over, and yeah.
So and mind you, this is somebody who's like in marching band. You have to be like up on your cardio to like do this shit. You're marching and playing an
You
instrument.
know,
Like you have to hit somebody.
It is
do you
probably a
know
healthy-
how hard you have to like punch somebody for them to like die from
Probably
that,
a
bro?
Repeatedly,
a healthy dude.
bro. This kid is 20 years old.
20 years
This is a
old.
child.
Is there more to it?
Just as of right now, bro,
It's still under investigation. I assume.
still under investigation. They're
allegedly.
saying-
Don't fucking
okay.
sue
They
us.
say alleged.
Yeah, so it says here there were 9 pledgers in a line, and they all received blows to the chest, and he was the one that I guess he didn't make it. He had a seizure in the warehouse.
Ooh, okay.
Shit, bro.
Before-
Here, let's. What was your
Before we even share our opinions, I need to know yours because you're sharing this. Like, how do you even like feel about this? Like, how does this?
It's fucked up, bro. Cause it's like from my perspective, it's like he just wanted to do some fun shit,
Yeah.
Literally.
and then he got caught up in all this hazing shit. And it's like, it's fucked up. Bro.
it's a tough conversation, right?
Yeah.
It's a really tough conversation, especially in our community.
Mm.
I think we have to. There's lines you draw, right? And we have to understand that. I understand that you could be upset about what we're saying. You could be saying, "Well, y'all don't understand," or da 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 da.
Yeah.
And I think there's some validity in that, right? Also, though, there's validity in the fact that this person has a family. This is a 20-year-old boy with a family. What are you going to tell his family? You're going to tell him, well, he knew.
It is what it is,
No,
bro.
like,
Like,
come on. Like,
no,
as
you
black
can't.
people, we have to come together and we have to understand that these situations, we have to then reevaluate the way
What
we
I-
do certain.
What I told them earlier, because I'm like, it's a nuanced conversation. We can just have it on the mic. What I told them earlier, it's kind of like religion in the sense that like everyone has their own religious belief, and it's very intuitively like hard to hear somebody like criticize your religious belief. You're gonna immediately be like
Go straight
non-recoil
into
in
the
defense of that
mechanism.
because there's so much that person doesn't understand. You have your own reasons for believing it, and religion serves like a social utility. Like in a community, it brings people together in the same way that D9 stuff does. But that does not mean that everything is above anything is above criticism.
Exactly.
When someone loses their life to a practice like that all the principles that we were trying to do within the community, all the cool stuff that comes along with it, it goes out the window when the kid is dead.
He's dead.
Exactly.
Like
Completely.
there is nothing else that you can put above that. That's somebody's life at the end of the day, and it's
Student,
yeah.
son.
Just
Like,
because you have personal attachment to the frat community or all that, you can't then be like, well, we still can't talk about. No, you're the problem if you're ignoring it.
amount of
Nothing
people
will
that
change
I've
if you
seen,
ignore it.
oh, bro, y'all not even a part of the frat. Y'all not a part of the D9, so y'all shouldn't be speaking.
then
Imagine
that's
if
okay, though.
nobody spoke about this shit.
yeah.
Yeah.
His parents wouldn't
you
know
just
what
have a-
happened.
yeah,
to him.
you
And
just
then
have
that
families.
story is just what we know. He
Yeah,
just fell
now
on the
you just have
ground. He's
broken
gone.
families, and it's
Yeah.
like
Broken families
as
and more
I feel like the bigger thing should be as like us, well not us, but as being black people, as us having something like the D9 community. That's when these are the stories that need to be publicized, that we need to talk about, so that we could come together as those communities. That's the whole point of it.
And
The
change
whole
that
point
shit
of it
up,
is
bro.
to come together and bring black people and those communities together. We can change these things if we have these hard,
sure.
nuanced
Yep.
conversations.
And here's the thing, though. That wasn't even the first time it happened at that school.
At that school?
Yeah.
Oh, it's been multiple.
This is the second time.
Jeez.
Wait, was it the same org too?
No, different org.
Same
So-
second time at that school.
In 2017, Steve Groover, right? His son is Max Groover. I guess his son was pledging to Phi Delta Theta, and he died during a hazing ritual. So basically, the ritual that they did was, I guess, if they answered a question wrong, he had to drink alcohol, and he overdosed on that shit and passed away. So before that happened, though, if a person in Louisiana were to like die to hazing, and then the people that like initiated that shit, they got charged, they would get a $10 to $100 fine and about 30 days imprisonment.
$10 to
Yes.
$100
Killing them?
for aiding and abetting the death.
30-day imprisonment. But since that happened, I guess Max's father, Steve, he got in contact with some people to push some bills forward. And now that the shit happened to fucking Caleb, oh, they're cooked, bro.
Yeah,
It's-
and
it's-
Phi
Look,
Delta Theta is
look,
not
this-
a D9 one, but that's like
Yeah, I was
also
gonna say, I
like
don't think
Right,
that's
yeah.
the D9 one,
that's a problem that is
It's
like
a problem.
throughout all. You see, the most of these stories you do hear is from like the white fraternities. They'll do some wild
Yeah.
shit. And people
Wild
end up
shit,
dead.
I
bro.
wanted to like share my opinion on it because I remember, and there's whole context to this. So step into what I'm shitting in, y'all. I'm telling y'all. So before, I remember you were trying to get into it, and to me, I thought it was I was like, what's the point of this? I thought it was the dumbest shit. And I kept saying it. He was like, no, you just kind of don't understand. Because granted, I haven't seen that perspective at all. So I remember we went to our homie's kind of probate. And I remember going there and I'm like, well, I don't know what to expect. But you know what? I'm going to have an open mind to it. We go there and I couldn't help but fucking smile because I got to see not only my people unified, but like I got to see kind of like my friend kind of be accepted into like a community. Because I remember he was always looking for one and they accepted him with open arms. They treated him well. I remember they were always looking out for him. And I'm like, yo, this shit is really like beautiful. But to see something like that and it like changed my whole perspective and to see something
because
like
it's one of those things where like you build that trust.
Yeah.
You want those people that are like, especially if they're gonna take you through like a process like that, you need to be able to trust those people. You need to like actually know that these people have their genuine interests at heart. And I'm sure that at some point during this he was shown that at multiple different points. But to like kind of betray that and this person ends up like dead, I feel like that's one of the things that like it's kind of the assumption that like we as a community are locked into one way of doing things. If D9 or fraternities have always been done one way within the black community, that's just the way it always has to do. No, you can do plenty things to make somebody work for the accomplishment of being honored to join one of these organizations without putting their life at danger.
Anything. And that's what I wanted to finish my point with was you have these people who are looking for community at like somewhere to like, you know,
and they'll push
like,
they'll do whatever to get that community.
And they'll do whatever. But I think what makes me mad is the leadership, and you understand that you're that big brother to that person, or even a father role model to that person, and you damn near like torture them. It's like you can't have this thing for the black community and be for black people, but then torture your own fucking people to be a part of it. I think that's the part that
torture. I would just say in the sense of like, you almost negate how many people want to join, how many people can get involved by like the hazing rumors. You already negate the amount of people that want to join that community, which it's a cool ass thing. Like, bro, like I didn't go to college. If I did go to college, I probably would have been in my
it's one of those things that like people try to essentialize it. I know so many people who are brilliant, who are smart, who like want to come out of their shell, who are black people who are like, I really want to do some shit like that, and they don't go through it just because they hear like rumors about oh they gonna haze you, they gonna do
like as a community. I feel like that's something that we really need to have more.
We need to bunker down and talk about that.
That's something we should.
We could talk about this.
I remember
we could talk about this for hours.
I remember he brought up the name and I looked it up, and then the first thing that popped up was a Reddit thread, and I saw all the people was like, yo, this is unacceptable, this can't keep happening. And going back to the point JJ just said is there's a lot of people looking for community and want to do it, but that just scared, like I remember seeing a whole bunch of people, it scared the shit out of them. They were like, yo, I want to do this so bad, but I don't want this to happen to me.
Right. So, and the thing is too, so just to go back on like the punishment that these people might receive, it went from $10 to $100 fine and 30 days imprisonment to now up to 5 years in jail and a $10,000 fine.
Okay.
So
that's more. I feel like that's more.
That's more reasonable.
And it's just that's also a reason why people will try to like, you know, especially if you're involved in it, like push it on the rug, not talk about it because you don't want people to face those consequences. But at a certain point, we have to understand that stuff like this can't keep happening.
It can't.
Like, bro, if I had my own like D9 fraternity, like if I were to like do hazing, it would be like some fucking Uno shit.
You gotta beat me.
Like you gotta beat me in Uno or some shit. Like it wouldn't be no like
something that's like it's still like you could make it competitive, whatever, but it's still like lighthearted.
Like nigga, draw 4. If you can't beat me, nigga, you can't join the fraternity. Or something.
And it's like you said, it's like the valid point you made is like it doesn't have to be no crazy punishment, and that goes to like you don't have to torture these. You don't have to punch.
There's a bunch of other ways.
So much other shit you could do.
Right.
And you can do it because even if it's something like as a responsibility, like joining a D9 or joining a fraternity, it's a heavy responsibility, obviously, but you can always find ways to make that shit lighthearted so stuff doesn't happen like this.